YouTube above average Cody here, coming at you with some follow-up viewer VOD review. That's right, we're taking a second look at some gameplay from Terminal Ascension. We reviewed some of his gameplay about 2 to 3 months ago, and we gave him some important feedback in kind of the gold to platinum range lobbies to focus on that reticle placement, stop jumping so much, and just focus more about where you're moving on the map such that you're helping your teammates out and not kind of just running around playing that reactive type of Halo that we're trying to get everybody out of. So let's go back to the beginning of this gameplay and let's see what further tips. Well, let's see if he improved on the tips I gave him and then see what further tips we can give Terminal Ascension here. And he actually noted that he feels like his biggest problem is still thinking about where the enemies are coming from and kind of where you should be on the map and where you can best anticipate where they're coming from off spawn, or either you died to them and then where you should go off spawn and things like that. So we're going to see here on Aquarius Slayer how we can kind of better help him do that. And now off the spawn here, you're kind of just, or off the start here, I should say, you're kind of just walking up car 3. You're looking down to see if your teammate's next to you, and then an enemy just slides out on you and you kind of get caught off guard. And I really hate to see you play for that melee there. Your reticle placement looked a lot better than the last VOD review, but let's just back this up a little bit here off the start. So I want to see if you can see your teammate. You can see your teammate going below you. So right here, I'd maybe wait a split second here just to see kind of how he's going to play off of you, and be very careful about just walking out into the open like this. But it looks like your enemy's pretty slow off spawn here, because this little check here, looking down to see if he's next to you, kind of just wastes time. You actually take a double take, and then you get caught very off guard here. You actually get caught going into a sprint. So even though your reticle placement is a little bit better than past ones, you definitely got caught off guard, and then you kind of just defaulted and just played for that melee there. Now, since you had a teammate going down here, you see him right here, and he's not fighting anybody. You really didn't have to do this double take, but I'm sure you already know that. But if you are moving towards the enemy base off spawn here, like off the start of the game, you know where they are. Chances of them all rotating to P side is very slim to none, I would say. So chances are you're going to meet somebody in this area. So just do not get caught sprinting in this area. And again, I think you just kind of panicked and then defaulted to playing for the melee there, and your teammate was using the needler. So just off to a pretty gruesome start in terms of team play. I see 2 teammates here in the top right going to war, and of course my webcam's blocking it. Apologies for that. So off spawn here. And by the way, this is the best way you are going to dictate where the enemies are coming from, is your teammates. So off spawn, you spawn right here, right on blue util side. And you kind of just start running, and I realize the maps are a little different since the last patch, but I want to point out right here, you're staring right at some nice juicy dynamos here in obviously this current layout. This is the old patch, guys, so a lot of things on the map are different now. But you cannot just stare at some juicy utility there and just run right past it. You actually look right at it and then just turn away. Grab the equipment around you and use it. Even if you don't want to use it, even if you're bad with it, it is better in your hands than the enemy's hands. And you're kind of moving right towards your teammates. You see them both die, and you're still very much running right out in the open, and you run into the 2v1. So you do get a nice kill here. You go down the second one. I just covered this in the video I did on map positioning. So, walk you through this sequence here. So, off spawn, your teammates are fighting. I like that you try to get over to help them, but you actually watch one die, and chances are this fellow is going to suffer a similar fate. You watch them both die. Right here, I am getting out. I am getting completely out. The chances are very good he is fighting the entire team here, right? So even if they're not 4 up or even 3 up or what have you here, you have 2 enemies dead or 2 teammates dead in your vision, and you have your 4th teammate is nowhere to be seen in your line of sight. Based solely off this information, I do not want to push over there. I am going to push into multiple enemies, and that is exactly what happens. When you push out, you meet one, and you think you have an easy gunfight, and then you bump into 2. Although you get a nice kill there, You cannot be taking 2v1s. I don't care what rank you are. I don't care what rank the other team is. You cannot just be running into 2v1s. That is not proper Halo, excuse me. And another thing is, I believe you said you felt like you were strafing better. I don't ever want to see you taking a straight line at the enemies like this. Almost, see, you go into a strafe right here, but almost the entire first half of that fight, even right here, you are just beelining straight towards the enemy. Never forwards or backwards, unless you're trying to like get away or you have to play for a melee or something like that in a rare circumstance. You always want to be doing the side to side. So if you are going to take this gunfight, I'm maybe sliding the corner, and then I'm going right into a side-to-side here. Right into a side-to-side, because you actually take a lot of damage here, because you're just not being a very, like, hard-to-hit target, and then right here, you run right at him. He has no trouble lining up the headshot. So, don't run into that 2v1. You have to acknowledge that even though your teammates are fighting, if they are losing that gunfight, sometimes you just cannot help them. You have to save yourself and just put yourself in a position where you can wait for them to spawn up, and then you can go think about how you're going to take the next approach on this new set of spawns. And also, strafe more. Strafe side to side, never towards the enemy. So, spawning up, we're already sprinting. I don't want to always see that out of you, right? I want you to think about where you're going. So it looks like you do take a turn towards your teammates twice. You think about going on the wrap. And I do like what I'm seeing here. You see that your teammates are fighting, and that is how you made your decision to go this way. I like it. Very good here. I do see some improvement. However, you're kind of just flying in here, and you get run up on by somebody in top mid. So, although you make the right decision to go this way, you don't really scan for any information. You kind of just assume that what they're fighting is over here. But you have to keep in mind, where you spawned up blue base, right? So, you know there's enemies right here. You have no idea what is lurking on all of P side. And of course, P2 and Car 3 are probably two of the best vantage points on this map, because you can shoot about 80% of the map from either of those locations. So you do not know what's going on over here, and right here you guys can barely see it because it's a little bit blurry. Apologies for the quality. But there is actually an enemy right there, because again, you don't know what's going on over here. So again, you make the right decision to move towards your teammates, but again, although they're fighting, it can't be assumed that they're fighting the entire team. So I like the route you go. Just take a quick little pan to the right and just see if there's any information that needs to be noted, because again, P2, Car 3, very good vantage points. And since you guys are all bundled up Car 3, it's a pretty good bet that somebody's going to go on a wrap to P2, and that's actually exactly what happens. You react very late, and then you do a good job to get the trade, but I just feel like that whole thing was very easily prevented as a whole, at least in my opinion. So, spawning up here, blue base, you get the same exact spawn. Your teammates are kind of back down now, more towards your blue util. And this is, of course, the other teammate that was one shot up there that actually died. And you make the choice to run towards them in util, and you catch one up top, and you run into a 2v1, but you do a good job of backing out. So I guess my only critique here, and actually good job putting in a lot of damage. Your teammates are doing a good job giving you some help here. So off this blue spawn here, I do not want to go into util. If I see two teammates in util, I really do not want to go in there with them. That is probably the worst place to bunch up on this map, just because, I mean, in this era of Aquarius, dynamos can do a ton of damage. Grenades can do a ton of damage. It's not an area you want to get trapped in. And you can very clearly tell they're fighting, so I understand you want to get over to help them. But maybe, like, going to a jump up to Car 3 would maybe be a good play here. Again, it's hard to say because I can't really see where all of the enemies are. But right here, if I do come in and help them util, I really want to be super careful on how I take this. I don't really want to fly out too fast because, again, you guys are very much fish in a barrel right now. And they're just going to keep shooting in at you until you either make a move or all die, and then they kind of just move in and finish you, which is kind of the play they're trying to make here. So you do a pretty good job cutting this off, but I just don't like how you're kind of moving towards them. You do a good decision to back out there. and you guys actually make this work pretty well. I'm kind of just giving you like the tools where you can kind of like avoid these awkward situations, because if you guys lose this fight, you are losing this game as well. But you guys do a good job. You back up towards util. You guys are very much together right now, which I like. You're putting in some shots across the map. Don't jump. Stop jumping. Stop. You don't need to jump. Right here. You have the angle the entire time. You don't have to keep jumping here. You might even help your aim a little bit if you're not jumping quite as much. So just keep your feet on the ground, because, again, you can be a very predictive target here, especially if somebody, like, locks on you and starts shooting you here. Putting in some good shots down below. Make sure you use that cover. Good job. You guys actually get that kill. And now you're moving up. I don't hate this play. You actually missed the jump there. And now you're kind of spinning around looking. One comes out on top. See, this is why, like, if you're not 100% on what's going on, be it your, like, team pushing or you have 2 dead, even 3 dead, you really don't want to just instinctively push up, because that's how you get caught in, like, really, really awkward situations. And you want to stay out of these situations as much as possible. Now, you guys spawned blue. You did a good job getting them out of the util and kind of fighting out. I love that you're standing here putting in damage. Again, car 3, P2, 2 very good vantage points. I have no problem with you just staying up here and putting in shots, because the longer you can hold this, and if your team can hold the blue side of the map, or at least block the blue side spawns, that's how you can kind of trap them and just kind of get them in a blender here. But the moment you decide to push up, you're now not only blocking this spawn, but you're going in to take a chow that you're not really ready for, and you don't really have good inventory on what's going on. You actually miss the jump there. He throws a grenade, and now you're kind of in that confused, like, are they behind me now? Are they in front of me? If you would have just held that car 3, this fella that ended up top, he probably took the jump right up. He would have been so surprised by you being car 3, you probably would have had your easiest kill of the game, but instead you pushed up, you got into that awkward situation, and he actually comes out and probably gets his easiest kill of the game. So just kind of a different way to think. Just because you guys moved up, you got a few nice kills, you have the numbers advantage, that's your cue to push to the power positions on the map. Assuming you guys are up and everybody's ready to be shooting their guns, then yes, you can take that power position of car 3. But what you do with it is kind of up to you and your team. I think if you all made a collective push, maybe it could have worked better, but you guys are so, like, not in sync in these lobbies where I think it would have been best if you just held that car 3 position. So just something to think about. If you do get that advantage, it's not always sprint and kill the rest of them. Sometimes it's very much just peppering shots and just keeping them right where you want them, because then you always know where they're coming from, and it doesn't get much easier than that in Halo Infinite. Now right here, you're kind of looking around. I like that you're analyzing where your teammates are. That is a very important step in improving your gameplay, and you're definitely taking that tip from last time. So here you're kind of looking around. You do play for that QT here. And you almost make a solo push, but then you decide to make it back to your teammates. I like that. I like that a lot. Do not go for those hero plays. Try to kind of nip it in the bud a little sooner, but I do like that you chose to back out of that. But now, something I always point out in these lower-level gameplays here, do not just fly out in the middle of the map. This jumping around right out in the open, especially if you're anticipating the enemies to be over here, do not just fly out. As you climb through the ranks and get to higher lobbies, this will not work. Flying out in the middle of the map does not work, trust me. And you know they're in util, so you move that way, you kind of just fly in. Teammates are pushing with you. I really like your patience on that push. Fantastic. I have to commend you here. Because you push into util, people don't see enemies and they go, oh, I got to keep sprinting. I got to keep going. Instead, you kind of chill. You see an enemy, but you're like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to check above me. And you actually see the teammate come to help. So then you know it's time to keep going. And this is my favorite Aquarius movement, is when a team is just flowing through the map as a unit, just kind of killing them one by one by one. That's what you love to see. You go out, you get that kill. And you look and you see that your 2 teammates actually die. Fantastic intuition there. And you actually catch one up car 3 and you get a very, very nice kill. These are those quick look, get the information, make a decision off what you just saw. So, while you took this fight, you did a good job of listening. I assume you heard it and you paid attention and you saw that your teammates were fighting, and you look and you see they are both dead. So you know here, you guys are two dead, right? And they just died. And since you just killed their teammate, they know where you are. So you actually turn and you actually get information on a fella here, car 3, which your teammate has absolutely no idea. So you do a good job to get that reticle up and shoot him very quickly, and you get the perfect medal, which actually allows your teammates to spawn on you right here in yellow util. So you guys are already stacked right back up as a unit, so you can kind of go out and get those spawners. I see that you have an enemy coming up right here because you did not clear them out and you just turn a second too soon, and they are actually still there. So right here, you really only killed one of them, so you definitely want to anticipate this. The only thing is, so you see the spawn up come in here, that doesn't necessarily mean you're completely safe on the yellow side of the map, because again, they could have had teammates, which they did right here, which led to a kind of close spawn, and the people who lived up were just coming right out. Ideally, your spawner pushes out and probably checks this doorway, and that kind of prevents that from happening, and it lets you kind of do your reload and kind of like regain and then go out and take a chow. But instead, your entire team kind of goes out car 3, which is just unfortunate. So you kind of had to be that guy to figure out that guy was there. But just try to think about it, because you guys did not get them 4 dead by any means. And since most of the fights kind of happened on that yellow fridge side of the map, it's safe to assume that there's still some lurking on that side of the map. How fast they push or whether they choose to back out, you never really know, but you just have to kind of be aware and be ready for enemies if they're going to be close. And right here, good job being aware that the fights are still going down in util. You definitely want to clear them all out before you make a move. And you're flying right out to that power position. I like what I'm seeing. And you fly a little too fast into util here. And again, the 2v1. You guys can see this trend in just about any gameplay. A lot of you are probably even guilty of it. I'm even guilty of it a lot. When you make that fly up solo, this is right where you end up in those 2v1 disadvantages. Nobody's ready to move up. You fly in. Although you think you're going to get an easy kill, they do a good job baiting and switching, and they get a very free kill onto you here. Again, hold this power position. You know where they are. You have info on util. You have info on blue. Keep them there. Put in some damage, get a pick, and then make that push in with your team. But you know they're 4 up, or at least getting 4 up in a second here, so flying in solo definitely was not the play. It's easy to be like, oh, teammate, why didn't you push into util? I mean, you were in the power position. They didn't really have to push into util. You kind of just pushed the envelope there and made a solo push a little bit too quickly there. And now they push in late, and although they are able to get some kills, this is where you see really bad timing kind of unfold, because everybody's not on the same page. And this can be fixed with comms. This can be fixed with experience, a lot of things. But right now we have to focus on the solo gameplay, and right there, I'd like to see you holding that power position there of car 3. Spawning up, you are on the opposite side of the map as your team. So you know it's getting scrappy in here. You know there's a lot of fights going on. And I will say I have not brought it up so far because I have not been able to see it because it is theater mode. Normally you would have the kill feed. Pay attention to your kill feed. This is how you are going to dictate what you are able to do on the map. If you guys only killed 1 or 2, I'm being very wary and careful about how I play this situation, because the other 2 could be lurking anywhere, especially if they're not currently in a fight here. But if you guys say maybe you guys killed all 4 and Engage is the last one left, you know that there are 4 players waiting to spawn up or starting to spawn up. So my thought process here is block spawns. I want to spawn them in one area of the map so that my team can spawn up together and hopefully make that collective push. Now, by just flying out in the middle of the map, you kind of just open everything up a little bit, except for maybe wherever you just spawned. So although I very much like that you're getting to this teammate very, very quickly, just always think about this. Again, I can't see the kill feed, so I really don't know what the situation is. But if you have 3 or 4 enemies waiting to spawn up, you want to have it in the back of your mind where you want to spawn them. Because again, if they're in a 5-second respawn screen, you could move this way and completely block yellow side so that you can hold this side of the map, or you could just as easily move towards blue and maybe try to beat them, but that could be a little bit wonkier. So just something to think about in the future. But you see the one teammate up, and potentially he's in a 1v1 here. We really don't know, but you do a great job getting over to help him. I like how you're using the slides to get here very quickly. And what's even better on his part is he sees that you're here to help. You two just punch right in and go to gang up on this guy. That is great Halo. Fantastic. You guys actually have 2 more here, and you do a good job to get that trade. He actually went down as well, but your teammates are there now to kind of pick it up. And this is getting kind of scrappy. So right here, you're probably going to do the same thing. You're probably just going to run over and try to help, which is all good and fine. But at some point, you have to try to get a wipe here and get some map control. Because although this scrappiness kind of feels good, you know, you're getting a few kills here and there, you guys are getting some team shots in, it's very hard to get an advantage without getting the map control. Again, you want to hold those power positions, put in shots, and trap them in the spawn. Because although it feels like you're winning a lot of the fights, you guys are actually losing the game right now. You're down 20-23. These trades really aren't going in your favor. And you guys are just flying out for more trades. And right here, you do a good job backing out. Your teammates are off to the races, and you see that pace being pushed, so you push out with him. And you're kind of just chasing. You're chasing. You get the kill there. You move back towards your teammates. I like it. You guys are kind of blocking the yellow spawns here. You see them fighting across. Looks like a bit of an awkward melee. You're doing a lot of running. You're running back. You're running forwards now. Now you don't know if they're behind you. Now right here, this is probably going to be the final thing I really drill in here, and I remember covering this in another VOD review. I can't remember whose it was, but slow down. Slow down. Halo, although it is very chess-like and there's a lot of things going on taking in, you don't have to just sprint. I have to go this way. I have to go that way. I have to get in cover. I have to do this. No. So way back here, when you chase this fella and get this kill, you do a good job of moving to the safe area, right? You have a teammate here in yellow. You have a teammate behind you on car 2 or car 2 area. You guys are probably safe here, right? You guys know they're spawning over on blue side. They're likely on the opposite side of the map as you. This is a perfect time to just take an angle and get some map control, put in some damage, see if you have a teammate kind of trying to make a play and get Overwatch over him, because none of your team is kind of getting into those power positions that I've been talking about, being car 3, P2, anything of the sort here. And you do get up top here, you look at the fellow for 2 seconds, you're not even that damaged, and now you're sprinting into the back of the base. And now you're sprinting forwards again. And now there's stuff blowing up, and you're like, where'd that come from? And now you're looking over here, and you're looking over there. Okay, there's an enemy there. Just pick an angle and look at it. You really don't have to do much more than that. Although it is very chess-like, it can be very complicated at times. It can be very simple if you want to make it as such, because you're doing a lot of like looking around, not knowing what's going on. So what I kind of want to close out here for you specifically, and anybody that's kind of struggling in gold and plat lobbies, guys, is not only to slow down, but use your information. Your information can make the game very easy to dictate, because going back to here, like I said, when you picked this safe spot here in util, you know where the enemies are. At least roughly you know where the enemies are, right? They're not in util. They're not currently in yellow base because Engage is not fighting anybody, and they're not on car side. So if you move out here, again, you see one here. You don't see them. I can see them because we're in theater mode, but the enemies are right where I anticipated them to be, because they are the reason you are spawning here, or the reason you are able to move freely on this side of the map, is because you are safe. So pick an angle, and then you can take in the actual information, and then as you guys hopefully get a pick or you go down 1 or 2, that's when you use the kill feed to dictate how you move around the map. And if you guys go up and get the advantage, then by all means, push the pressure. Go get those other kills or spawn trap them. If you guys go down and you're kind of losing the picks, then that's kind of when you want to back up, play it a little safe, pick one little safe area of the map and make it your area of the map. You may get pushed, yes, but chances are in these lobbies you're not going to, but it's just something to think about. Like, it can be very, very simple on how you play this map, especially on Aquarius. Aquarius spawns are very, very predictable. So just think about where you are on the map and how many you have up, and that will dictate not only where the enemies are coming from, but how you should be playing around the map. Because again, right now you guys are getting these 1-for-1 trades, these 1-for-2 trades, these 2-for-2 trades, and this is a very like Call of Duty team deathmatch way to go about Slayer. Again, the goal is to kind of always know where they're coming from. The sooner you can get that spawn trap and that map control, the easier this game becomes. And I mean, I realize it's easier said than done. I'm probably not doing a good way of describing it, but I promise you, it really is as simple as holding these power positions and just knowing where your enemy's coming from. So right here, another perfect example. You have the power position, you see where they're spawning, and you see where it's safe. They can only push you from certain areas of the map. They're not going to come from these two because they're spawning up here. This is your safe area of the map. Instead, you run backwards towards them, and you just give up the power position. And although you guys are running as a squad, that's all good and great. You're just giving up area on the map. And see right here, your teammate stays there. He gets pushed. And now, once again, you're dropping off the power position of the map to chase this kill. And this is kind of what makes these lobbies very crazy. So, what I want you to take away from this, my friend, not only continuing working on your strafing, you're moving side to side, you're keeping your boots on the ground and your reticle placement and how you take your gunfights, but I want you to think about what you are doing on the map. Again, you don't always have to be sprinting. You don't always have to be going crazy. Take in all of that information. Kill feed, teammates, pick up that equipment you're looking right at. And more importantly, just keep that safe wall area on the map so that you can keep the enemies in your vision. The sooner you can do that and the better you can get that down and anticipate those spawns, the easier the game will come, and I promise you that. It will come very easy on all fronts, not only on knowing where your enemies are coming from, but team shooting and just putting up those better stat lines, and then you can kind of jiggle peek the cover, play your life, because it's safe on your side of the map. Because if you're always just running out, are they behind me, are they in front of me, you don't know what is safe, you don't know which way is up, and that's how you get this kind of crazy, like, chicken with your head cut off gameplay. But alrighty, I hope some of this made sense. I'm kind of doing a bit of rambling here, but I do hope that you guys got some good takeaways from this VOD review. A little bit longer than I want it to be, but I hope you guys enjoyed it and find it helpful. So please subscribe to the channel, guys. A lot of Halo Infinite content. We've been streaming some Modern Warfare 3 here and there, but I do a lot of these free VOD reviews, and I do appreciate it if you guys go down and hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on the video. Leave a comment, please. Any other further tips for Terminal Ascension or anything constructive, or if you guys enjoyed the video even. Then finally, guys, channel membership, super thanks if you like support monetarily. I do all these VOD reviews, all these videos completely for free through the Discord. So if you'd like to support monetarily, it helps me out a lot, and I very much appreciate it. Please do not feel like you have to. And if you guys would like to submit a VOD of your own, join the Discord through the link down below. We have a VOD submissions channel. Link me some gameplay there, and I'll get to you as I make my way down the list. I'm kind of trying to play catch up still. As you see, we're still doing VOD reviews on old patches, but I'm working, trying to get through, trying to catch up. So I am sorry for the wait, you guys that have submitted VOD reviews. And again, totally free, guys. That's all you have to do to submit one, and I'll do my best to get to it in a timely manner. But alrighty, guys, enough talking. Thank you so much for all the support on the channel. Appreciate all the love, guys, whether I'm playing Modern Warfare 3, Halo Infinite, or I don't know, whatever, taking a day off. Appreciate all y'all. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned for the next video.